On the line right now, very big day, primary day. Our polls open noon until 9 p.m. You must be registered Republican or Democrat to vote. And the one and only John Zogby on the line right now. John, good morning.
Hey, good morning. How are you?
Well, good. I want to get past the. First of all, I'm working on. I keep saying I'm working on. I have the idea to write a column, and I've really not gotten past it. But here's my thought: is that this is the information age. I mean, with technology and internet and the social media, information flies. It travels so quickly. Yet, I think that instead of us being referred to as the information age, history will refer to us as the misinformation age. Because as quickly as good information travels, so then does bad information. And it's tough to differentiate between what's real, what's true, what's not true, right?
Very, very true. And nothing new. I mean, we've always had misinformation.
Yeah.
We've always depended more on family and friends and our own network all throughout history. It's just that it is so quickly
traveling faster
quick now,
yeah.
and there are fewer filters. Yep, that's right.
So if you're Donald Trump, you come out and you say the system is rigged, that it's not fair. This party system, it's not democracy at work here. This is back room, smoke-filled rooms. The fact is, this is our system. It's always been our system, and I'm so sick and tired of hearing people saying it's not fair that I can't vote. I have to be registered Republican or registered Democrat to vote. Well, yeah, right?
It's a closed primary. It's always been that way. Not going to change when you have Democrats and Republicans controlling the state legislature, which makes up the rules, and the parties that make up the rules.
Yeah.
But in the case of Donald Trump, it works for him.
It works. Yeah.
Here he's 37% of the vote, 45% of the delegates. He's doing fairly well, actually.
Yeah.
But now he's getting into a situation where, look, if you're going to be anti-establishment, the establishment will fight back.
Sure, yeah, and they're fighting back
with their disposal
with a really good ground game. And now you're seeing, another member of Trump's team has stepped down. They brought in a couple of veterans of the ground game. I think that this delegate game is becoming really important, and I think it's taken a while for Trump to realize that, but I think he realizes it now.
Yeah, I don't think he came in really prepared for all of this. I think he was going to have some fun for a few months. That got out of hand, and then I think, everything was just going to fall into place. But again, if you go against the establishment doesn't have anything else to do but be an establishment.
Yeah,
they're going to want to stay and in power, and he is totally uncontrollable. I guess that's what a lot of people like about him.
Yeah.
But if he becomes president, he's going to have a team, and right now he's not building one.
So what are we expecting today? It's very interesting how New York works.
Yeah.
And it's not just an overall vote of New York where you tally up New York. You really go county by county when it comes to these delegates.
Yeah, you do. And so there's 91 Republican delegates that are up. If Donald Trump has to get a majority, 51%, and then a majority in the congressional districts, and he gets all of them, that is conceivable, but it looks like, at the very least, he gets the lion's share of those 91 delegates. Right now, he's polling over 50%.
Yeah.
He's doing well in the various locales that have been tested among Republicans. So, in that case, then he stops Cruz's momentum, and with 91 delegates and strong leads, in Pennsylvania, Connecticut, Rhode Island, California, it's conceivable that he can get the 1,237 delegates, or at least come within, let's say, 150, 200 of that score. And if he does, it's going to be very hard to block him.
Yeah, interesting, too, that when you look at your ballot today, if you're a Republican and you're voting today, in this primary, you're going to see Ben Carson on the ballot, which is very interesting and not necessarily good for Donald Trump.
No, not necessarily, except his lead is so huge. The only thing, if there's a couple of percent that Ben Carson gets, and probably does, that could deny Donald Trump the 51% or the 50% plus one.
On the other side, on the Republican side, again, an establishment issue going on here as well, and Hillary pulling out all the stops. I mean, we've been getting phone calls. Yesterday, Star Jones was on. All these celebrities are making the rounds on radio stations across the state, really trying to. I mean, I think she, without a big win, it's not a win for Hillary. Is that? Do you agree with that?
That's how I see it. She's at least 10 points ahead on average, maybe even a little bit more. If it's single digits, it's a moral victory for Bernie. If he comes within 5 or 6 points, it's not so much that he stops her from getting the delegates she needs, but it raises some eyebrows among superdelegates. Like, hey, this lady's really got some problems, even in her own state. But I'm not sure the celebrity thing works.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, and I can't imagine a more ill-timed $33,000 a head party to have than George Clooney's right at this moment. Right before the New York primary, where you got a candidate who's challenging. Bernie Sanders is challenging the notion of big money, and what do? They raise big money among an elite. I'm kind of wondering if that hurts her. I do wonder if this is going to be closer than we thought. Not quite a Michigan, but closer.
Yeah. It was interesting. She left New York, the state that means so much to her campaign, to fly out to L.A. to do this really big dollar fundraiser. I thought that was a big surprise.
Well, it's also the sort of thing that can bite her back because. She's raising money for the general election, and that waves that whole inevitability flag. Hey, let me ignore this guy. He's just a nuisance, and Bernie's not a nuisance.
Yeah.
We've gotten calls here at the House. We're Democrats, and we've gotten 4 calls and 2 texts from Bernie's people and their kids. They're not stars, and that has a certain appeal to it.
Yeah, it seems that every move these guys make, every move against Trump, really bolsters Trump's argument. Every move against Bernie Sanders really bolsters his argument. It seems every move that Hillary makes. She
is the establishment. There's a story that broke just yesterday in Forbes that her husband was offered $650,000 to speak to the Democratic Republic of Congo. 2 photo ops for $650,000. Poorest country on earth. He applied to the State Department for clearance to do it, and they said no. But the question is, what do they want him out there for? And the answer is clearly to buy favor with the Secretary of State.
Yeah.
Here he was considering it. These are the sorts of things you're going to hear more and more about in the general.
Yeah. Well, and the response from the feds was, "Are you kidding? What are you thinking?" That would be my response, I think.
Yeah. So. What are you thinking?
Yeah, what are you thinking here?
The answer given is, "Oh, it's for the foundation," but then that raises an awful lot of questions about where that foundation money has been going.
Going to be interesting. You'll see what today brings and what we wake up with tomorrow morning. John Zogby, ZogbyAnalytics.com. I appreciate it, John. Thanks.